deep stats, helping out Karrigan and Robin with playbook, strategies, pistol rounds, whatever. I was full of nerves at the current level of competitive CS. It's not enough to have just one coach.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another interview. More coming out, of course, you know, been rolling on them. I've recorded a fair few over the past few days, and of course, I have Innersh1ne on today. I'm pretty interested to get this one going, right? Because I think, as we talked about a little bit, you know, we kind of hear from coaches, maybe not as much as we should have, but definitely don't hear enough, I think, from the analysts, you know, and from the deeper support staff of teams and whatnot. So really cool to have you on. So I appreciate you giving us some of your time.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
Okay, cool. So, wanted to start a little bit with, you know, the history of your career, and kind of ask a few questions, you know, around that and whatnot. Obviously, you worked with Gamer Legion, you worked with Mousesports in the past. I guess one of the angles that I'd wanted to get into here is, you know, have you done any coaching in the past there, or is it always sort of been this analyst role? You know, talk us through some of the history of your career.
Yeah, it all started like around 3 years ago, I think. Yeah, 3 years ago. I was working as content creator at one of the Russian websites, just like editing and writing CSGO pieces. And one moment I just realized I don't know. I write shit. I don't know enough scene from inside, you know. So then I have decided for myself. I was in thoughts how can I learn more about this scene from inside, and by that moment was only 3 or 4 analysts in 30 best teams in the world, and obviously I was not so stupid and overconfident to go as coach from like without having any experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically have decided to go as a supportive staff into the team. And so after hundreds of applications, one small team answered me. It was Smoke Criminals, and like maybe top 100, top 150 SLTV rating. I spent some months with them learning basics, just really basic stuff. And then, yeah, I was just lucky, I think, to get into Gamer Legion, and then got my career rolled, skyrocket.
Fair. Yeah, no, I think there's kind of some good stuff in there, and I think I suppose what we'll move on a little bit later and kind of come back to like the coaching aspect. But something I think that's kind of important to get laid out, right? Maybe if you have a super close ear to the ground and follow everything that goes on and whatnot, you maybe know fully what's going on. But at the same time, I think as well, the analyst role is very different from team to team almost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like being analyst or assistant coach in every team is a very different thing. You are totally right. That's it. The duties of analysts differs very much in every team.
And what would you kind of say that the role is, right? What is it that you've done for teams in the past? And I don't know, is that maybe what you want to be doing? Like, do you want to do more as an analyst, or arguably a bit less? Maybe, like, you know, highlight the role for people, basically.
Oh yeah. At the start of my career, I was basically just doing simple anti-strutting, and that's all, not more. It was a period of Smoke Criminals and Gamer Legion. Then, when I started working with Mousesports, Regin, Alan Peterson, a very good guy. He taught me, a lot. and I was learning as hard as I could. So my responsibilities a bit deeper. I was working with stats, and for now, as I became more experienced worker, I'm doing a lot of stuff right now in Faze, from simple anti-starting that I was doing previously, but now it's on a different level totally. I'm kind of sure. And managing procs, whatever, to deep stats, helping out Karrigan and Robin with playbook, strategies, pistol rounds, whatever. So, like a full assistant coach, I think.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Even if the position is named as analyst, I'm doing a lot of different things in Faze.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that in the future we probably need to be more specific, I suppose, with the titles kind of thing for some of the support staff of a team, because the analyst role, I think if you speak to people doing it for maybe voluntarily for like mid-level teams and things, it's obviously going to be very, very different, and they might not expect, if they move up or move to a different team, what ends up coming their way. So certainly I think we need a bit more specificity with that kind of thing for sure. So I wanted to move in. Obviously, as mentioned, you were at Mousesports, and around the same time, I think Karrigan left in February, I want to say, of 21, and you left in March time. Is Karrigan a part of the reason why you left Mousesports? Was there a complete reshuffle there? Obviously moving across to join him again, there has to be some, connection and sort of trust there between the two of you.
Well, to be honest, after Finn left Mousesports, and I think Finn and Chris J left Mousesports both, a lot of changes inside team, I think. And when Karrigan left, I was just lucky, basically, because my contract was to end about 1st April, I think. Yeah, 31st March. It was the last day of my contract. So when Karrigan left, I slowly started to explore my possible options, because, and not because Mousesports was a bad place. The organization treated me well, and the roster still was good. But yeah, I had in mind that I might want to try something different. Maybe it's time for me to move forward a bit, like to get a new challenge, maybe. And Karrigan left Mousesports. Then I contacted him, and during we had a conversation. During it, I learned that he was looking for an analyst for Faze Clan, because he wanted to have a team around the team. Like, obviously, Karrigan and Robin, they're good friends. They know each other well. They work together. I think they have been working together for a long time, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah. But they definitely understand each other very well. But it's not enough, I think, right now, at the current level of competitive CS. It's not enough to have just in-game leader and head coach working on tactical stuff behind. Just too many aspects to follow, I think. So yeah, he was seeking for an analyst, and then I just, hello, my contract ends in 1 month. Maybe we could have a discussion closer to the end of my contract. And I was released by Mousesports like in mid-March, maybe 20th. And I had some time to make it work with Faze. And Karrigan for sure. I my respect to Finn is a huge. He is just a mastermind of this game. I think he's one of the smartest in-game leaders, and the amount of work he does in-game and outside the game on the server and playbook is incredible. So it's a good idea to keep learning from him. And I knew that Robin is basically half of life in Counter-Strike, 20 years or something like this. It was a good opportunity for me to keep learning, especially with such a experienced roster in Faze. I couldn't miss that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and from the other side, as Finn was seeking for analyst, we became a bit closer, our relations, when this coach bug happened and Regin departed Mousesports. So it was a lot of tons of work for Finn, and I tried to help him out as much as possible, increasing my working hours. Just I gave everything I could those 2-3 months before Miser joined Mousesports. It was a hard period, but basically Finn knew that I know what he wants to see, how he wants to see. I know his vision of the game, and I think it was a good step for both sides, me, Faze, Karrigan, when I entered Faze. Yeah.
So how do you feel that maybe Faze and that group of players differ from the other teams that you've worked on? Because I think it's kind of safe to say that there has been, some decent experience definitely with Mousesports on those players, but you have guys like Rain and obviously Olaf for a while. These are guys who have a hell of a lot of experience. Twists, of course, as well, world-ending player, still a lot of time behind him, kind of thing, in terms of the age and things like that. It's a very different environment, I feel, from a Gamer Legion, from a Mousesports, where certainly the stars of that team were a lot younger. Do you find that it's different? Do you find that it's easier? Do they listen to you a bit more, or what? What's the feeling?
I think I have to start from that. It's a different feeling, like self-feeling. When I came to Mousesports, it was my first tier 1 experience, and like maybe months or something like this, I was just like, oh, I'm on the same server on TeamSpeak. Oh, with Karrigan, with Chris J. What the fuck I'm doing here? It was actually like this because I couldn't believe. It was not the expected step. Because I parted ways with Gamer Legion, and Mousesports opportunity appeared just suddenly. And when I joined Faze, I have already had 1 year of tier 1 experience. I had experience working with Karrigan. I had Karrigan trust me, so I was way more confident when I joined Faze, and I think that's a key moment because basically right, you can't behave like pussy, being as a like equal part of the team with a tier 1 level, then players might not listen to you that well, and just because it is how it is, So yeah, Face is a very different experience for me, and I keep learning here. Here I have more freedom. Here I can work more with players, and I think, especially when the Olaf Meister was on the roster, I could learn a lot, like really a lot, from this team.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of my feeling. I think you've got an awful lot you know, of the sort of building blocks within a team like Faze. We'll see how things go. Definitely, like, you know, the online era was a little rougher for you guys, but I'm kind of hopeful. They've always been one of my sort of favorite teams to watch, and just the development from like the G2 days and all that sort of stuff is a lot of fun. So speaking of, you know, getting back to LANs and whatnot, obviously the major was a pretty big one for everybody and FaZe in general, and also yourself, right? You had a bit of a situation, let's say, where you had to stand in and coach for that. Few questions around that, really, to be honest with you, Innersh1ne. So how do you kind of feel, you know, things went for you? Is there things you could have changed looking back? You know, maybe you could let us into a little bit of what the role entailed for you, because obviously it's not going to be as sort of prepped, let's say, as Roban, you know, getting into that specific role. And then honestly, if you want to feed into it as well, is it something that, you know, you'd like to do more of further down the line? Do you have that desire to transition into a full-time head coaching role?
I think like it was a very unexpected experience for me. Coaching a major, it was my first LAN because I joined my mouse sports right when online era started.
Mm-hmm.
It was in March of 2020, I think. Yeah, and Katowice was last LAN event.
Mm-hmm.
I had no chance to gain any LAN experience, even just being as analyst with the team, you know, on the LAN. And it was my first coaching experience, so it was first day on the major, first official day. It was very tough. I just nothing to add more. It was I don't know, too many emotions, too many. No, yeah, I was full of nerves.
Mm.
Talking about if I could change something. I'm not sure. I have been thinking about it a lot after the major, because obviously it all went as a last game against Virtus.pro. Went not the way we wanted, for sure. You know, I mean, I don't think that there were any expectations from Karrigan, from Robin, from Faze, for me, staying behind the guys, you know, because everyone understands it. I think that having first LAN coach experience at the 2 million first major in 2 years, it's hard. But suddenly, I think I was a bit more useful than I expected from myself, you know. So I think it could have been more impact from me in tough moments during the game, especially Virtus.pro and second map. But I can't, like, you know, I can't say like, yeah, I could do more. For sure I could, but well, it was just lack of experience. I didn't catch moments I need to calm down a bit team, to bring them back confidence and whatever. So yeah, I could have changed something, but I learned a lot from it. Yeah,
For sure.
but I understand that I had no chance to get more impact than I had. Like, yeah, it was good. Good experience.
Yeah, I can imagine it was a bit of a crazy one, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sorry. It could be like a bit shambles, my speech, but yeah. Okay.
You're good. You're good. I got you. I know what you're getting at. You know what I mean? Like it is, and it's kind of a hard one to describe and work your way through for sure.
Yeah, just looking back, I know I could have changed it. I could have done better, but at the particular moment, at the major, no chance.
Yeah, gotcha.
I did what I could.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah, fair. So, to kind of move on from that a little bit, as sort of mentioned, is that a role that you're aiming towards in kind of the end game, or are you sticking at analyst? Like, what's the future look like for Innersh1ne?
I think it really depends on the particular situation, because right now I'm happy where I am. I keep gaining experience at Faze Clan. I think we have insane potential for this year. But after the major, I realized that I could be a coach in the future. One day, maybe I will become a coach. Yeah, that was the question for me before the major. Yeah, to understand just for myself if this role fits me or no. I think, I might become a coach one day. But for now, like basically, if I have an option to choose to keep working with Faze as analyst, as assistant coach, and to choose any tier 2, tier 3 team to work as head coach, I think for now I would prefer to stay as analyst here. Maybe it's not time right now.
Okay, all right, fair. So on that kind of sentiment, then, do you think like we should have more support staff in teams? Because in a fair amount of sports, to be honest, they have specific coaches for certain roles, and you work closely with them as well as the head coach and that kind of thing. I don't know. I feel it might be maybe a bit much, but there is maybe a thought for like, should we have an entry fragger coach, or whatever, that just coaches that one player kind of specifically on what to do? Or is that something that the overall, kind of head coach or assistant coaches can already deal with, and you don't necessarily need someone super specific, right? Like, what are your opinions on that kind of sentiment?
I think like having a personal coach in the team, it's not necessary for now. But as I have already told you, it's at the current level of competitive CS, it's not enough to have just one coach in the team. You should have someone behind. And right now, we in Faze, me, Robin, Karrigan, I think we are good. For example, because we cover everything, most of the things, I think. And but it happens because Karrigan also does a lot of work. He brings tons of impact outside the game. So maybe I think for some teams, maybe it would be good to have a head coach and two assistant coaches, maybe for now, like tactical wise. And I think having psychologist as a team is also important right now. So maybe coach and one or two assistant coaches. It would be good. Depends on the team.
Yeah, for sure. But I just think it's kind of an interesting sort of thought experiment in a way of like, should we go above and beyond that and whatnot? I don't know. I think that it did sort of pop into my head when I was thinking of things, to talk about here and whatnot. But at the same time, I do think that it maybe is a little too much.
I think it also depends on players from team to team, because different players need different treatment.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. It'd be kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe in like some of the academy teams to maybe have in future, someone who can just come in for a little bit and teach them what they know about, a certain role, how to play support very well, or, how to play clutches very well and that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe academy team. Yeah,
Mm.
academy team is a different thing, I think,
Mm.
because they could have more attention. They could have way more stuff behind the team, behind the players. You have to stack, I think, a lot of things to help.
Yeah. A few less kind of, you're all right. A few less sort of opinions and things like that, I guess, to get mixed up as well, So, yeah. It's an interesting one. I mean, we'll see further down the line how much, because, I mean, the Astralis, like, sports psychologist was quite a big deal a good few years ago, and now it seems kind of the norm to get those involved in the bigger teams, and get them over whatever issues they may well suffer from, So we'll see if it expands, to be honest with you. And like you say, and like we've kind of touched on, the analyst role seems to be a bit of a blanket term, and it's very, very different. Yours is a bit more of an assistant coach role. I've kind of heard in the past of, people under that analyst role just essentially sort of watching demos and then giving some bits of information and that kind of thing. I think that's maybe what you touched on with like the counter-stratting, anti-stratting type deal that you maybe started off by doing. So yeah, it would just be nice, I think, to get a few more set titles for this analyst role, for sure.
I think maybe in Faze, I also could have watched, could have only watched demos, just doing a bit things accepted, but I want to improve. Every day I'm learning. I want to become better, so I'm doing as much as I can.
There you go, mate. There you go. Nice sentiment to finish off. I think that's going to do us in a shine, to be honest. Really solid stuff. Thank you very much for coming in. Bit of insight into yourself and, of course, the role, what you do, and how the future looks, I suppose. So thanks once again for coming on.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you and to talk to you. Thank you.